Hello, this is Richard Diatley of the Press Enterprise, and we're talking with Dr. Elaine James. She's the live-in physician for singer Etta James, and would like to know from you, what is her condition at the present time?
At the present time, Etta is considered terminally ill.
When did you hear about this, or when was this?
This decision or classification in her care actually occurred about 2 weeks ago.
Do you want us to keep going? We had a cell phone go off.
I'll turn it on.
And that was based on your diagnosis as well as other physicians?
Actually, it was based on 3 physicians. One was the hematologist-oncologist that has been treating her for the last year, and the other gentleman is an internist at one of the local hospitals where she frequently gets admitted, and he generally is assigned to her care. So he knows her very well from being in the hospital.
Okay. What is her condition now as responsiveness, whether she can?
She's not, occasionally she'll wake up and she's a little responsive and you get a couple of yes, no answers, but she'll fall back asleep. We try to get her to eat or drink something, but sometimes she just sort of refuses.
You've been giving her 24-hour care, live-in care, since March of 2010?
Yes, sir.
And what was the specific reason for giving her that intense care, live-in care?
Etta has many medical problems. I don't want to violate her HIPAA rights, but she has many
Right.
conditions, complications. I have added them up at one point that it would take about 24 different subspecialists to manage her case.
Mm-hmm. We have on record from court documents that she has leukemia. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Dementia and renal or kidney failure.
Yes, she does. She has, her kidney failure is not quite failure. It's actually, they would call it chronic kidney disease. Some of the internists would consider it CKD, chronic kidney disease, stage 3. So she's not at the point that she requires dialysis. Mm-hmm. It's just that they don't filter as well as mine or perhaps yours.
Yeah, and it's one more thing in addition to the other things.
It certainly can cause a little trouble here and there.
Does she have any recollection or does she make any reference to her music or her career at this stage?
I don't know if I could ever hear her at this stage mention anything other than maybe her mother.
Mm-hmm. And I understand she has still has an ear for voices and...
She has an excellent ear. She can hear you talking in the kitchen before you get into her room, even if her large screen TV is on and is full blast. Etta will still hear you. Mm-hmm. And I'm the only one I was the only one, there's one other nurse now, that has a high-pitched voice. And she cannot tolerate high-pitched voices.
She points that out in some fashion?
I'll go sit next to her. I said, Grandma, do you want salmon or barbecue chicken wings for dinner? Shut up! I'm not going to shut up, Grandma. Now listen, you want salmon or you want barbecue chicken wings? Because you got to pick one. So she'll pick one to get rid of me.
Now you say that you call her Grandma because your mother, not to confuse with your mother's name, or
I don't want to get confused with my mom's name, who would be Mrs. James, and she's passed. Or my name, if you didn't address me as a physician, you would say Miss James, because I'm not married.
And we should say quickly that you are no relation to Etta James.
I am not related to Etta by blood or marriage. That's how they write it.
Mm-hmm. And how did you come to be her 24-hour physician?
I was asked by the daughter of one of my ex-bosses, and she had gone on road trips with Etta, and Mr. Mills must have called her and asked her, are there any doctors that can help me? And she said, well, I think Dr. James is in town now, and perhaps you can call her. I don't know if she's working a steady job, but I know she's in L.A. Mm. And so he called me and asked me to please come stay with them and live there. And I said, Mr. Mills, I'm pretty sharp. I think I can see her maybe 4 or 5 times a week. I don't have to really live there. No, you have to live there. You don't understand. You have to see what she's doing in the day and see what she's doing at the night. I'm like, okay. So I didn't argue. I said, all right. So I moved my stuff from the valley into her residence.
The amount of money that you're paid, it's reported at 20, 25, and then 30,000 more recently a month. Point of controversy, I guess, in some court proceedings. How would you parse out your salary to someone who would ask?
Well, first of all, I'm a trained surgeon. I'm a trauma surgeon and I'm a bariatric surgeon. So actually, I met Etta back in 2001 because of her bariatric surgery, and I was on the team that managed her care. But the care she required, if I didn't have all the training and expertise and skills that had come from just medicine in general, I would not have been able to save Etta's life as many times as I have, because she also has a gastric bypass. Mm-hmm. And the gastric bypass caused her lots of complications that she kind of ignored coming after, after the glory's over, you forget about it. Mm-hmm. People don't take their vitamins, they don't eat properly, they don't drink properly, And so Etta had actually, when I came, she had gotten into a big problem with protein malnourishment. So that form of expertise, I was the only one. I mean, poor Etta would have such a hard time that she would stand up and the stool would just run down her leg and pool at her feet. And so I just devised little ways, and I'm very flexible and very creative, and I came up with things to manage that. And then there were other issues going on, so I fixed that and I fixed that. And I tried to fix everything. And I finally fixed her protein malnourishment. Mm-hmm. And Etta was, when I first saw her, she couldn't walk. We would turn her in the bed, and she would just flop over and flop back. And I was standing at the foot of her bed one night, and she tried to kick me. So she, very feebly, she put her foot up. I knew she was trying to kick me. So I just grabbed the sole of her foot. I said, "Are you trying to kick me?" "Yes." She was mad. I was holding this foot. Then she picked up the other foot to do the same thing. So after a while, we were doing a little seesaw. She said, "I just want to know, why are you touching my feet?" I said, "Because you tried to kick me." "You faggot." So she called me that for a couple of days. So I decided one day I'm going to trick Etta, right? "Listen, Etta, I can't be a faggot. I'm a girl. I wear a bra. I'm a girl." So the next day she waited. She called me a dyke. The grandma is just full of tricks. But getting back to my salary, I didn't mean to sway off of it.
No.
All the different specialties that I'm able to handle prevents her from being hospitalized. Mm-hmm. And for a while, it was just the 5,000. I'm like, wait, if I took one night of trauma call, that's grand. And I'm a surgeon. Mm-hmm. I know, And so I did many, many other things for Etta besides just be the doctor.
What were your other roles?
I was a nurse administrator. I taught them. Some were not as familiar with, especially with the type of percutaneous gastrostomy tube that she has. Which, excuse me for 1 second, I do have to just step aside to kindly address my brother, that's what the gardener calls him, Etta James, that I did not insert or do a surgical procedure that had to be done in a hospital. All I did was replace a G-tube that I'm trained to replace. But this got out in the news that I was doing surgery in the house and it should have been done in a hospital. I'm like, God, how many G-tubes have I put back in? But it was a special kind, and I had another kit, so I didn't have to, send her to the hospital to get it replaced. And then I lost my training right after that. My train of thought. I was answering your question.
What was about the salary and the various duties that you were doing?
I'm the nurse administrator. All the nurses are hired by me, and I train them all. And we'll have monthly or bi-monthly meetings according to how Etta's doing. If she ever gets admitted to the hospital, there's a different treatment protocol. We've added a new medication, taken away one. we all meet and discuss, and then I ask them what, concerns they have, and they'll tell me what their nurse concerns are. We need this instead of that. Can you try and get us these? And so I would teach and assist them as well, because sometimes it was hard to.
And there are how many nurses?
There are 4 right now.
And there are 2 on each shift?
No, one per 12-hour shift.
Mm-hmm. 1 per 12 hours, so there's 4 nurses altogether. Mm-hmm. And the amount that you're paid, is that for your salary, or is that for anything else other than your salary?
No, for my salary.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then at one point during that hearing in February, there was a comparison. The attorney brought up comparing you to Dr. Conrad Murray in the Michael Jackson matter. How did you feel about that?
I was very, very angry. I really hadn't paid attention, honestly, to the Conrad Murray case. I knew Michael Jackson expired because I actually passed by UCLA hoping that I didn't get sick and need to go to the ER there, else I'll never get in. But nonetheless, I really didn't pay attention to the things he was doing. I'd get bits and pieces on the TV. I was extremely angry. I asked an attorney friend, is this slander? He said, Dr. James, the way he put it, it's kind of like an analogy, so you can't call that slander. But I was like, I work my butt off. I work my butt off. The nurses can come wake me up, and any time of the day or night, I leave my door unlocked. I said, if you knock on the door and I don't answer, you have the right to come in and shake me and wake me up.
And then after that comment and after those complaints in court, you were reviewed by?
Yes, I think the extreme comment that must have gotten Judge Carmen's attention was the fact that one of them suggested that they get a restraining order against me to stop me from treating Etta. And I said, he said, no. Get one doctor to go to the house and do a physical exam. Mm-hmm. And then ask for her records and review them, 2 separate reviewers. It didn't bother me, and one reporter called me and asked me what did I think about the judge's ruling. I said I thought the judge was very wise. So after their exam of Etta and after the review of my charts, there was nothing they could say other than glowing report, meticulous doctor. The other one said I wrote notes 10 times better than any other doc in the hospital. I'm just compulsive like that.
So did that seem to conclude the...
That stopped it.
Mm-hmm. And you have not been there's been no re-questioning or anything like that since then?
I have maybe it's a gut feeling. You have to go with your gut feeling that it's coming again.
Do you think what's the sensibility of that given the prognosis now from Ms. James?
I don't think it has any sensibility to it, Mr. Diatley. It's a gut feeling, and I know it's coming.
Okay. Well, we'll have a story about this tomorrow in the Press Enterprise newspaper, and you can read about it anytime at pe.com. This is Richard Diatley for the Press Enterprise. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. James.
Thank you.